Welcome, all the members to annual council. Please take a seat. I'd also like to especially say welcome to all the new councillors. Congratulations on your election. I would now like to invite nominees for the new Lord Mayor.
Could I nominate Mike Rowley?
Thank you. And can we have a seconder? Councillor Mark Lido? Thank you. We will now proceed to a vote. Please can I request that members keep their hands raised until I indicate otherwise. All those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Any abstentions? Thank you. The Lord? Thank you. Councillor Mike Rowley has been elected as the new Lord Mayor.
My first duty as your Lord Mayor is to invite nominations for the appointment of Deputy Lord Mayor for the council year 2024 to 25, and I see Councillor Hollingsworth.
Councillor Tiago Koresh.
And do I have a seconder? I see Councillor Arshad. We will now take a vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I think that's unanimous. Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Councillor Tiago Koresh is therefore elected as Deputy Lord Mayor. Congratulations, Tiago. I now invite nominations for the appointment of Sheriff for the council year 2024 to 25. I see Chele.
Happy to nominate Councillor James Fry.
And do I have a seconder? Councillor Jarvis. Thank you very much. We will take a vote. All those in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Congratulations, James. You're elected Sheriff for the council. We now begin the business of the meeting. Jonathan, are there any apologies?
Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. I'll share. Thank you, Lord Mayor. We've got apologies for absence from Asma Kayon, Ed Mundy, and Lois Clayton.
Thank you. Are there any further apologies? See none. Are there any declarations of interest on any item in the agenda? I see no declarations of interest. The next item is announcements. I have two announcements. First, that my Lord Mayor's charities for this year are Love Barton, Seesaw and Yellow Submarine, all excellent causes, which I hope will get some benefit from being Lord Mayor's charities. The second announcement I have is a rather sadder one, I'm afraid. Many of us in the room will remember former councillor Mike Gotch, who since our last meeting has passed away. We will have a chance for tributes to Mike at the beginning of the next full council meeting, but for now I would ask members to rise for a minute's silence in Mike's memory. Thank you very much. Please be seated. We have two substantive items on the agenda. Oh, yes. Sorry. And are there any announcements from the Executive? No. And from the City Rector, Anthony.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor. My congratulations to you and Deputy Lord Mayor and Sheriff. Congratulations also to new members. And lovely to see you, lovely also to see not quite so new members. I'm the City Rector, and that's because I'm part of the City Church. If anybody would like to go up the oldest tower in Oxford and have a good view from St Michael at the North Gate, I can save you £3.50. Apart from that, I am here to offer on behalf of many our support and gratitude to you all as councillors and staff for all you do for this city. It is so much appreciated. It is indeed a noble calling, and it's a privilege for me to be with you. Now, I use the word calling deliberately because I would just like to quote an Oxford writer, J.R.R. Tolkien. I am not an elf lord, but for the moment, pretend that Elrond is in the room. This is the purpose for which you are called hither. Called, I say, though I have not called you to me, strangers from distant lands. You have come and are here met in this very nick of time, by chance as it may seem, yet it is not so. Believe rather that it is so ordered that we, who sit here, must now find counsel for the peril for the world. A privilege to be with you tonight. Look forward to a lovely year together. Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Thank you, Anthony, and thank you for the magnificent quotation from Tolkien, which makes a change from Albus. We now move on to the first of our two substantive items on the agenda, which is the report of the leader, who I understand also has a couple of announcements to add. Councillor Brown.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor, and may I be the first to congratulate you on your new office and all the other civic office holders. I'd also like to issue a really warm welcome to all new councillors and to all returning councillors as well. It's lovely to see you all. I hope you'll enjoy your terms as councillors and haven't been too put off by the training, which has felt quite intense at times. There is a lot to learn, but we're all happy to support each other. And I wanted to emphasise the fact that this has generally been a council chamber in which we have found more in common than differences, and that we want to make sure that behaviour in this council chamber remains courteous at all times, and that we are supportive of each other. I think that's really important. So I just wanted to say those few words at the beginning. In terms of the substantive items that I have to report, we have appointed a deputy leader of the council, and that is Councillor Ed Turner. And you have in your briefing pack a list of all the cabinet members, and I will go through them now with their responsibilities. For my responsibilities, I am going to be focusing this year very much on our partnership working. We do more in partnership than we can do alone as a district council. It's really important that we work across the piece with other councils and with other bodies. And part of the work that we do is lobbying, and part of the work that we do is to act as a convener for our place, for our city. So that is something that I will be giving even more focus to this coming year, particularly as we move into a general election. And the focus ultimately is on enabling us to deliver on our key priorities as a council, which again I think there's a lot that we share in terms of those priorities. So just to remind you all, it's about delivering genuinely affordable housing for the city. It's about making sure that our economy is inclusive. Our economy, as we know, is growing and thriving, but it's really important that we tackle some of those deep inequalities in our city. It's about delivering a zero carbon Oxford, as we committed to do to our Citizens' Assembly. And it's about, above all, making Oxford the great place to live that we know it can be. And in order to do all of that, we of course need to have stable council finances, which takes me nicely on to Councillor Ed Turner's responsibilities, which remain with the finance portfolio. And huge thanks to Ed for all the work he's already done on this, alongside able officers like Nigel Kenzie, to make sure that we are in a position, unlike many other councils up and down the country, where we are able to continue to provide services for the people of Oxford, not just the statutory services, but far more, and are still offering financial support for local residents and businesses. We obviously partly are able to do that because of our huge property that we have in the city, and that is really important in terms of asset management and maintenance as well. Moving on, Councillor Anna Railton, a new deputy leader and still cabinet member for Zero Carbon Oxford. Really important work that's being done here, as I said earlier, the delivery of our Zero Carbon Oxford City Council by 2030, delivery of the outcomes of the Oxford Citizens' Assembly on climate change, and all things environmental and biodiverse and sustainable, including making sure that we are doing everything we can to make our city as biodiverse as possible, and that we are doing everything we can in combination and partnership with others to tackle the renewable energy and energy planning needs of our city, which are great. Moving on, Councillor Lubna Arshad is picking up the portfolio as Cabinet Member for Safer Oxford. And I think I don't need to remind you all that we have seen, unfortunately, yet further examples of knife crime in our city. We have seen, I'm sure that all of you will have received the same complaints that I have received about antisocial behaviour and drug dealing, county lines. All of these are really serious issues, and if we want people to feel safe and comfortable in our city, then it's vital that we work with the police to tackle these issues. And I can't think of a better person than Lubna to be leading us on these issues. So thank you very much to her for doing that. Councillor Nigel Chapman is continuing to focus on our council companies, making sure that they're delivering the services that we require, as well as the dividends that we require from them, and also continuing to make sure that we provide the excellent services that we have been recognised for across all of our council services. It's really important that when people try and contact the council, they have a good experience, and it's really important that the services that we provide are always the services that we would want to provide for people. Next Cabinet appointment is Councillor Alex Hollingsworth as Cabinet Member for Business, Culture and Inclusive Economy. So this bit is really all about making Oxford a great place to live, but also ensuring that everyone can enjoy it to its full. I would draw your attention in particular to the promotion of a thriving music and nighttime economy. Councillor Hollingsworth's got a lot of experience of working precisely in this area and delivering policies for this council which have enabled us to protect music venues in the city and nightclubs. And I mention this specifically today with the news that yet another nightclub in our city is under threat. And it is really important that our city remains a thriving place for young people and visitors, and older people who like to go to such things as well. I include myself occasionally in that. I think it's very important that we do everything we can to try and protect clubs and music venues, and I sort of put this council and this city on notice that we will do everything we can to do that. So Councillor Chairman Congay is the Cabinet Member for a Healthy Oxford, continuing the work that he's been doing on leisure. Now we've had a successful transition to a new leisure provider, which is going really well, I'm pleased to say. But it's also now time to link our leisure and park services with our important work on tackling the huge health inequalities in our city. Obviously, we've done quite a bit of work on this over the years, and it's one of the reasons why we have had relatively new calls in Barton and leisure centres in Barton and Blackford Leys. But it's really important that we work closely with the health service to try and make sure that we are doing everything we can to encourage people in those communities to be able to use those services. Councillor Linda Smith will continue her excellent work on housing and communities. So vital, of course, that we deliver our affordable housing. We know what a big challenge that is in our city, but also important that we continue the regeneration work on our estates, and that obviously includes close work with local communities and with local tenants. So that will be a really important part of her portfolio, and I know she's absolutely passionate about making sure that there is really good tenancy engagement and local resident engagement, so that will continue to be a really important part of her work, as will the regulation of the private rented sector, recognising that that is a huge sector for people in our city, and that many people in our city live in private rented accommodation, some of which is not as good as we would wish it to be. And then last but not least, Councillor Louise Upton is continuing her work on planning, and in recognition that this year is the year of the local plan, so a big year for us in terms of planning, and making sure that that local plan is delivered, and we get what we want out of the local planning inquiry, which is improved policies on being able to deliver housing at zero carbon or high environmental standards through that local planning policies, including biodiversity as well. And as often, we have been pushing the envelope in terms of what we are asking for as part of our local plan, but it's really important that we do, because we want our city to be a great place to live. And then finally, probably importantly to many people in this council chamber, the liaison work with the County Council, Highways England and our transport providers over representing the city's views on transport policies. We'll wait to see how well they're listened to, but that remains our task as City Council, is to try and represent the views of people in the city, try and make sure that there is engagement with local residents, and that we get the affordable, accessible and frequent public transport that the city deserves. So that is the run-through of the Cabinet's membership and responsibilities. The item 4 on your agenda, you will see under this report, is the Council's representative and substitute on the future Oxfordshire Partnership. That will be me as the Council's representative and Councillor Anna Relton as my sub. The Council's representative on the future Oxfordshire Partnerships 4 advisory subgroups, and their subs will be as follows. So Councillor Linda Smith for housing, with Councillor Nigel Chapman as her sub. For infrastructure, Councillor Louise Upton with Linda as her sub. Environment, Councillor Anne Railton with Louise as her sub, and Planning, Councillor Louise Upton with Alex as her sub. And then the next item is the appointment of members of the shareholder and joint venture group, and that will be myself, Councillor Ed Turner, Councillor Linda Smith, Councillor Nigel Chapman and Councillor Chirmon Conge. And then finally, the executive scheme of delegation is set out in section 4 of the Council's constitution. And that ends my report to Council. Thank you very much, Lord Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. The report is for noting, so we will move on to item 8 on our agenda, which is the appointment to council committees. I understand there are a couple of minor typos which have been corrected and the corrections have been circulated. So with that said, Councillor Brown, again, would you like to propose?
Yes, apologies, you get me again. I'd just like to add that the Head of Law and Governance has assured me that all groups are now properly constituted, so may I move the report with that addendum?
Thank you. To second, Councillor Smoten. Formally seconded. We will take all the recommendations together. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak on this item? Seeing no one, we will take a vote. All those in favour? Thank you. That's everyone. Any against? Any abstentions? Oh, unanimity. Thank you very much. With that, I shall close the meeting. I bought this off eBay. and I'll remind members to assemble top of the stairs for group photos. Thank you.